approach a large bonfire. This massive fire is made of raw, barely processed tree logs, stacked on top of each other. The dead branches and dried bark were left untouched. It is a rough and instinctual monument, erected for a singular purpose. Erected, rough and instinctual. How did they get the wood up? What do you think? What do you think? For what purpose? Now, another great gameplay feature is realizing what this is. It's a funny joke. I love that joke. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I love it when people get this.
Yeah. When people get it on streams, that is the funniest thing.
Yeah. Let's click that option because it's very funny. In the morning, of course. So yeah, it's a penis joke. Very funny indeed.
Well, hold on. You should tell him, right?
How
did they get the wood up in the morning? Of course. I mean, if that's not funny, what is? You know, it is quite subtle. Yeah, you have to be very smart to appreciate when birds go to sleep.
200 IQ game.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah. Forever unappreciated masterclass in humour. The prisoners woke at first light daybreak, neckbreak speed. They used the slight incline of the beach to raise the logs with wedges for incremental support. I liked, for example, the play, what was it? Daybreak, neckbreak. Breakneck, yeah, daybreak, breakneck speed is like a little...
tongue twister.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. As I said, all the text is very curated, and so a bonfire conversation like this bonfire section, that could take me one day to make. So one working day, that is. And to write, yeah. Some of the not to paint, I do about 6 to 8 hours on a single painting. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, because they're all different. But yeah. So far people have, appreciated the writing, if they like to read, that is. They use the slight incline of the beach to raise the logs, with wedges for incremental support. Or a pulley, a set of ship ropes, and 30 men at an angle. There's no knowing for certain, but they work together despite their differences in blood or education. A dream for the machine of abuse. Grim. Grim for everybody, who has ever worked, in a place where it's instantly replaceable. Glass balls litter around, there are chairs around the pyre. The gleams and twinkles of broken glass. So they talk about alcohol here. I'll leave that on for a bit. Now let's go to the end, just to talk about the ending of the bonfire. Alcoholic beverages are forbidden by the benefactory and should not be supplied. So what gives? Why are there? Why is there alcohol? And also, since this is, in the Near East, this is, Kormo's attire is Near Eastern. It's based on an Ottoman Mamluk from the 18th century. Or maybe even earlier than that. But they are Muslims, right? But Muslims don't drink, right? So how comes there are these people that drink? But I really like that because, a lot of Muslim people drink. Especially if they weren't Muslim before, right? So if a society, society doesn't just adapt or rather transform instantly, it sort of adapts to new culture. And so people here drink, yeah. A lot of people everywhere around the world drink, no matter their religion. That's something great, isn't it? Being an explorer is a miserable job. Yeah, you want to say something?
No, I just breathe.
Right. Don't breathe, don't you try to interrupt me. And so as if by accident or mercy, a barrel or two find their way onto the supply boats, along with fruit that no one eats, but is instead used in wine brewing. Yeah, even today in prisons, you can even look it up.
Prison wine.
It's called prison wine. Uma delicia.
Look it up, it's...
They make wine out of ketchup and oranges and bread. It's
in a bag, in a
sounds
plastic
great.
bag
Sounds
that
great.
they put under a mattress or a pillow, and
They
keep
leave it
warm.
there, yeah, for like a month or something.
More like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's nice and fermented.
Yeah, and that's the reality of things. You know, people are not gonna stop drinking alcohol. You would know, right? Because we were a smuggler. There are chairs around the pyre. Why? The prisoners drank and danced amongst their own. Or no, both prisoners and guards revelled and shared in their misfortune. People think about this one, and I think it's a good choice. The dichotomy is quite clear, but whichever one you click is the correct one. You only realise this on a second playthrough, that these are not answers you get about the place. You are making your opinions about the place.
In observations.
And observations, yeah. So whichever one you click, that's going to be how it was.
And not how it was, more like how you think it was.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
And it's like a tiny, tiny perspective shift. But I think that's exciting. I find that exciting. So, which one?
First, I think.
Who else would understand them but their own ilk? Even on this island, the properly born would not join the merriment around the bonfire. The simple songs and dances and cheers. Oil and water don't mix. The huge pyre was never lit. This is a signal fire. Again, someone's like straight from the start, of course it's a signal fire. You know, but then there would be no sort of mind map section like this. For when things go south, it's to be set alight. The smoke reaching into the higher stratosphere, letting all and sundry know what is happening here. Yeah. This raging fire would touch the clouds, bold and ferocious, polluting the night sky with hues of warmth. It would be seen from across the horizon, an unmistakable clue. Good to know I can ask for help. Why wasn't it used? And sort of the dichotomy here was naive choice and more pragmatic choice. Good to know I can ask for help, and then the game reinforces that for you. Yes, you will get help. Don't worry about it. And then the second choice, it reveals a darker truth, but I find that the writing there is too opaque. It's too unclear as to what it's trying to say, so the beat doesn't land. Why wasn't it used? Because it wasn't. Don't. Even think about it. There is a reason why it wasn't used by anyone in the prison colony, however much they needed help from the city of Ugarit, right? Because they disappeared. Why wasn't it used? They needed the help. This signal fire is not here for you. It's a warning, right? And the full sentence would be, because this already went through like 3 rewrites, and it's going to go through a 4th one. The signal fire is not here for you. It's a warning for the city not to come. That's what it's trying to say. Yeah. That's why it wasn't used, because they knew. Yeah, we have noticed something. Another thing that didn't quite land, I find. The notice something appears only after the bonfire, and if you leave, it disappears forever. So you have this, this foot here, and people say, "Wow, it's a giant foot." It's not meant to be a giant foot. It's made to be a slightly larger foot, you know. But I suppose there is not quite enough, you know, like stones and reeds around or something that sort of
sets the scale.
Sets the scale. There should be a banana for scale, right?
Banana peel.
Banana peel.
Oh, he slipped on the banana peel.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. It's just a little bit of unnatural looking foot, but yeah, people are like, wow, it's massive, because it is like a close up. Yeah. But there is no sort of reference point for us to look at. Now, if we go to the camp quickly, and I want to show you one more thing when we talked about the worm and the snake. Now, dreams are huge. You can choose what to dream. We've already, been dreaming a couple of times.
For me, it was the shape of the nail.
Yeah. It's, pedicure is necessary there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dream of the prison colonists. Did you always speak this tongue? Who has given it to you? Who has imposed it on you early in your childhood? And here on the illustration, you can see sort of it's sort of difficult to make out, but if you focus, you can find that this is a head, nose, lips. This is obviously a skull with holes in it, or a such structure. And out of the face here on the right, sort of a ball or a nest of snakes is emerging. Snakes. It was not your ancestors and certainly not your families. Who is it exactly that occupies your inland state and makes you say the words you can say, controls how you say them? The only words you know how to say and the ideas you come up with. Who benefits from this? I will not let the settlers in. I will expel the colonizers of my brain.
And yeah, this is the dream you get for the bonfire.
This is the dream you get for the bonfire, where they talked about, where these people together, guards, prisoners, properly bones and knots. And now, if we go back to the bonfire, we're just going to wake. And we get up, we go outside. If we approach the bonfire party is long over. Nothing to be said about. You wouldn't want to rub shoulders with a smelly convict insect, despite you also being, a smelly convict as well. But there is, there's an air of superiority when it's you.
Yeah.
Or the properly born guards, for that matter, even though you could speak their language better than your own mother tongue. Now it ties back to the dream. What would she say about that? Who? Right? Your mother tongue. That's the real puzzle there. That's the gameplay. So, right, you go to the bonfire, you think of the colonists, and how did they even speak together? Then you get a dream about language, and then you go back, and it's revealed indeed that it was about language and how our minds are colonized by language as well. Even the fact that we speak in English here right now, we do have colonized brains as well.